Okay. Now, when you have set the objective, then you will move to the second step. That is what? Developing premises. Now, what is premises? Now, let us understand the meaning of the premises. Okay. Now, see, we know that planning is all concerned with the future. It is futuristic and which is not certain. It is uncertain. Right? We have already studied this. And every planner means the manager is using what? Conjecture. What is this word? Conjecture means what? See, if we go through the dictionary, we can say that conjecture is an opinion, or you can say the conclusion formed on the basis of incomplete information. Why I'm saying incomplete information? Because it is all about future, and future is not predictable, my dear. Right? Whatever the astrologer claims so, but this is not possible. That everyone cannot say that this is correct. And exactly because see, I haven't seen any astrologer predicting this pandemic. Rather, I know one of the astrologer who has planned during this lockdown period the marriage of his own son, which could not take place. So, see, this is my personal opinion that I don't believe in that much. See, astrology is science, right? But it is very limited. So I cannot say that everything can be predicted. Getting it? And in business world, it is very difficult to predict the things. So business world is always dynamic and it is uncertain. So the manager is required to make certain assumptions. He will assume something that if this will happen, I will do this. If this will happen, then I will do this. So these assumptions are actually called the premises. Hope I am clear. So what is premises? If it is asked in the examination, you have to say that the assumptions which manager make about the future are called premises. Correct? So assumptions are the base material, upon which you are going to have a building of the planning. Correct? So assumption or the you can say that is the base. Like when you are going to make a building, there is a base. There should be a firm base. Then only a very strong building is possible. Same way, if you want to develop a good plan, you should have a good premise. So these premises, or now I will use this word alternatively, or assumptions, must be the same for everyone in the organizations. Getting it? And they should be totally agreed on that. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. If all the managers are not involved in the planning and they are not familiar with the using the same kind of assumptions or the premises, it would be very difficult to achieve the organizational goal. Getting it? So this is very necessary that we should have the same kind of assumptions in the planning process. Like, the example which I cited about the Maruti car company, there were several assumptions that why people will buy car. So people were they have increase in their income. This is the season of festivals. In festival season, you must have seen that on Dhanteras, Durga Puja, Diwali, people buy such type of product, big car or the any luxury product. So that has been assumed. That has been assumptions of the company in that case. Getting it? Now, if you take your own example, suppose you like I have set my target that my student should be scoring this much marks. Now, what would be my presumptions, my assumptions, my premise? See, I have considered here that I would be able to complete my syllabus in time. Right? This is my premise. This is my assumptions. Then I have assumed that whatever the video I am posting here, all my students are seeing, all my students are watching. Whatever the assignment I am giving, they will be completing it. So all these are my assumptions. All these are my premises. Based on that, now I will plan further. Now the third step says that we need to identify the alternative courses of action. What are the various ways by which we can achieve our goal, achieve our target? See, here in this picture you are seeing that suppose this is a manager. So there he want to achieve this target, 20% increase in sales. Okay, now there are various ways to go there, right? So out of these many, so if there are more than these ways, that also we need to think here. So we need to identify the different alternative courses of action. What are the possibilities through which we can achieve our target? So the next step is what? To act upon them. When you have assumed, when you have done the assumptions, now you need to act upon them. So what we'll do, there may be many ways to act and achieve that objective. So we need to decide those alternative courses of action. We need to identify it. We need to make a list of those type of course of action which we can take. And then all such type of innovative course may be adopted by involving more people and sharing their ideas. We can ask other people, okay, see, this is what we want to achieve. Like I keep on asking student that have you any suggestion, give it to me, that how you will be able to understand the concept more clearly, more, that will be more easy for you. So keep on giving me the feedback. I am always welcoming those type of feedback, and I'm really happy that some of the students are very good enough to give me the, they keep on giving me their feedback. And if the project is very important, then more alternatives should be generated and thoroughly discussed also among all the members of the organization. So this is making list of different courses of action through which we can achieve our target. Now coming back to the previous example, we want to increase sales. What are the various ways by which we can do it? So we have decided that okay, we can have advertisement by a particular celebrity. Then we thought of that okay, we can reduce prices, we can give some offers. So what are the all the options? List it out. That is the third step. We have identified the different courses of action. Now the fourth step is now we need to evaluate alternative courses of action. Like again, now I would go back to that video which you have seen. Like in the meeting, what was being done? They were evaluating all the different options. That okay, if we ask this man to be our brand ambassador, then what is the advantage of this and what would be the disadvantage of this? Like they are going to market a product which is for tan skin, right? So if a celebrity is having the tan skin, it will be more suitable for that. Have you seen in that video, right? So here we need to evaluate all the alternative courses, correct? Like we need to cross this wall. So there are ways we can go by above this wall. Then we can go under this wall, cross this wall by going under this, and then we can just break the wall and cross it like this. So these are the different alternatives. Now we need to think that which one is the good one, or what are the consequences. If we break the wall, then what will happen? If we go under this wall, then what will happen? If we go over the wall, then what will happen? So we need to calculate all those things, right? So here now come back, next step would be seeing the pros and cons of each alternative. Getting it? So each course of action we need to calculate, weight it against each other, that what is the positive and negative aspect of each proposal. That should be evaluated, that should be done out of my list which we have made. say I would take here example. If for financial plan, the risk return trade off is very common. So the more risky the investment, the higher the return, right? So if you are going into the more risky investment, then only higher return is possible. So is our company in the position to take more risk? That we need to evaluate. Then only we'll go for the higher return or the higher risk or the risky investment. So we need to evaluate all such type of proposal with detailed calculation of its earning, how much we'll be able to earn, what would be the earning per share, we call it EPS, how much interest we have to pay or how much interest we will get, whatever is the case, right? So how much taxes we'll have to pay, a dividend, and all these decision we need to take beforehand. Then only the accurate forecast would be possible, right? So all the alternatives are to be evaluated in the light of their feasibility and consequences. What is this feasible to take this decision? We need to think about it. Or what would be the consequences if we take it? Like if we offer, again, I'm coming back to the previous example. If we offer 20% off on the sale, then what would happen? It would reduce the profit margin of the company. Correct? So, can we take this decision? Is it feasible for us? In this way, we need to define it. In this way, we need to understand it. Getting it? Okay, so fourth step we have completed in this way. Now, let us see the fifth step. Fifth step is what? Now we have to select the alternative out of those. Right? We have evaluated, we have understood that this is the advantage of this and this is the disadvantage of this alternative. Now we have several alternatives. Out of those, now we need to decide that which way we should go. Again, see this picture. If we go from the left, if we go from the right, and if we go from over this wall, then these are the pros and cons of this. This would be the advantage and disadvantage. Now we need to decide that if we go from the left, it is not feasible, so we should cross the wall or whatsoever we have decided. Now this is the actual, or you can say the real point of decision making. Here we are going to make the decision. Getting it? So the best plan has to be adopted and that is to be implemented. So the ideal plan obviously would be most feasible. Remember it. It should be most profitable and with least negative consequences. There is a possibility that some kind of consequences possible, of negative, but it should be least. So the most plans may not always be no subjected to a mathematical analysis. So we need to see the subjectivity aspect also, and then the manager's experience, that also counts. His judgments at times play a major role. And then I would say that this is also very, very important. Huh? Most of the time, the successful businessman has said this, that I thought of this. I don't know, it came to my mind. That is what? Your intuition. So, intuition plays an important part in the selecting the most viable alternative. And here I must say that a cool, calm, meditative mind will have a very good and better intuition, right? So you must do something to keep your mind cool and calm, right? And meditation helps in it. I have no hesitation to say it. So meditation will definitely will improve your intuition ability, and this is very good for a manager. If you want to be a successful manager, you should adopt it. And sometimes this is also possible that the combination of plans also may be selected instead of one best course. Possible that your see, I have talked so many things that I always said that we need to make a list. Out of these lists, we need to select one. No, it is possible that you may select two, three combinations together. That may be very good for us. So we need to apply all sorts of permutation, combination, and then we'll select the best possible course of action, that is selecting an alternative. Now let us see the sixth step. That is what? Let us now implement the plan. Right? You have decided, you have selected, now let us implement it. So how will you implement it? Now here the other managerial functions also come into the picture. So this is the step which is concerned with putting the plan into action. So doing what is required. See, now here we may need to direct people, or if there is a plan to increase production, then more labor, more machines will be required. So how many machineries you need? Huh? How many more people you need? So all those things would be now decided. So basically, this step would also involve organizing for labor and purchase of machinery. Getting it? So this is the step which actually starts doing or starts action here. Got it? So now we will be implementing that plan. How to implement means, that is this thing, na? That how we will implement this plan. This is what we need to decide at this juncture. This is sixth step of planning. Now the seventh is very very important. Now this is, you need to look back. That is follow up action. So follow up is very very important. Don't forget to follow up. If you forget it, you will fail in your planning. So this is very important. So to see whether plans are being implemented and activities are performed according to the schedule or not, this is what we need to see here. It's a review. No, we are actually reviewing our taking the review of the plan, all our activities, whether it is moving in the right direction or not. Is it moving to according to our schedule or not? So basically, here we are monitoring the plans, and this is equally important as setting objective. You have set the objective, but you are not monitoring the plans. It is not perfect planning. You won't be able to achieve your objectives. Getting it? So this is the last step which we have to follow here. Okay, now once again I would like to show this all 7 steps together. And what you have to do, you have to frame your own planning where very clearly you need to state these 7 objectives, and in front of these objectives you will mention that how you are setting the objective. So two things you have to do. A, you will make your own plan and show me. You will send it to me. Second thing which you have to do is what? That in that video, the role play, what is how in this same in the that role play statement they have said, which is about setting objective. Like they said that we want to market this product, so that was the setting objective. Then they developed the premise, they had certain assumptions. Like they assumed that uh, the teenagers will prefer our product. So that was their assumptions. So I'm not going to explain all these points in that regard, but I'm leaving it for you. You need to connect that role play with all these 7 steps. This is one thing which you have to do as a homework. And the second thing is that you need to set up your own objective. You use that SMART, specific, measurable, all these 5 points, and then you go ahead with all these 7 steps and you make your own plan for your future, for your career, for your study, or even you can take this example of the class 12 board examination, as you wish, whatever you want to make it, but it should be your own personal plan. and make it and show me. Then actually you will be able to understand the whole concept of this planning process very clearly. And if you have, believe me, if you have done this practice, then any kind of case studies comes in front of you, you will be in a position to solve it immediately, and you would not make any mistake in identifying these steps. Okay. Okay, so now thank you. See you next week. Bye bye.